Hi, welcome to Orange Therapy on YouTube. My name is Julie. I am a professional counselor in South Carolina, and that is my amazing co-counselor, Ed. I'm glad you joined me here today. Have you ever had an experience where you just lost it? Where you were dealing with it, where you were in a situation and just out of the blue, something blindsided you and kind of knocked you off your feet and you reacted instead of responding? You know what I'm talking about? And would you like to stop doing it? Well, sit back and let's learn how to do that together. All right, so I'm going to start today's video with an illustration, and then I'm going to apply that to what it is I'm talking about, because I think it's going to make a little bit more sense to you. So I recently went on a cruise, my very first cruise, with my mother and my sister. Thanks, Mom. It was amazing. Had a wonderful time. Before the cruise, I was talking with my family about my irrational fear of a rogue wave coming and sinking the ship. And, you know, it was kind of a joke in my family that I was afraid of a rogue wave. Well, second to last day on the cruise, the ship's navigator was doing a presentation, and I wanted to go and hear this presentation. How does the ship's navigator determine what passage the ship is going to take? It was really interesting, actually. And do you know that it takes 2 years and many revisions for the navigator to plan a pathway for the cruise to go on? They don't just get out there and go for a drive. Very interesting. So at the end of the presentation, my sister grabbed me by the hand and said, "Come on, let's go down, let's ask him the question about the rogue wave." And so we went down, and my sister said to, I can't remember the gentleman's name, Babi, I'll look it up. So she asked the gentleman, "My sister has been worried about rogue waves. So can you tell us about that? Are people looking for rogue waves?" And both of us, honestly, fully expected him to say, "That's not a thing." But he said, "Yes, as a matter of fact, we have 4 people watching for them at all times." I was like, what? My sister looked at me the same way that I'm looking at you right now, and she turned back to him and said, well, what do you do? How do you watch for them? So they're watching for them on the horizon at all times. They're also watching on their sonar radar, and it appears as a line that's moving very rapidly toward the ship. And at this point, I couldn't even speak. But my sister went on and said, well, how do you navigate that? What happens if it hits the ship? He says, well, we turn the ship to face directly into the wave that's coming toward us. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with rogue waves. They can be 50 to over 100 feet. Like, rogue waves are big, and they are a wave that's coming out of nowhere. So it's not like the typical sea day. This is just a wave, a great big one that's coming out of the ship. So he said, we turn the ship to face the wave. It's not comfortable, but the ship is designed to navigate that huge wave. It goes over it. We might have to get on the speakers and tell people to get down close to the ground. Everybody kind of has to brace themselves, but the ship is designed to go over that wave. Well, she said, what happens if it hits the ship on the side? If people aren't watching for it, if we're not aware? He goes, oh, bad things. And I thought instantly about navigating personal experience. It is exactly the same way. We have to be watching for the things that we know are difficulties in our own lives. And they're going to be different for me than they are for you. My growth areas, I don't like the word, but it's appropriate. My triggers are going to be different than yours. And I need to be aware of what mine are. I need to be paying attention, not hypervigilant, but aware, paying attention, looking for, alert for these things so that I can turn toward them and navigate them appropriately. It's not always comfortable. As a matter of fact, it's rarely comfortable when we are triggered into a reaction. But we are designed in such a way that if we use the tools that are taught in counseling and that I'm going to go through with you today just briefly, if we learn those tools, we too can navigate the experiences in life by facing them and going through them. So you ready to learn what those tools might be? Now, a good counselor is going to teach you these over the course of time based on what it is you're doing, but all of these are beneficial to us. I don't do all of these every day, but I do most of these most days because it is important to be aware. And as a counselor, I need to be aware of the things in the counseling room that might impact me. That's called countertransference. I don't want that. So I need to be constantly aware and working on me. All right, ready for these tools? All right, so the first tool is meditation. And we have discussed meditation a little bit, a few sessions, a few videos back. I actually did a mindfulness meditation on gratitude to help to center you to go into your day. There are many different kinds of meditations. There's lots of great videos of meditations that you can do for different purposes. But meditation increases awareness in the present moment of how I'm feeling. It centers us, it grounds us, and over time it can reduce our set point. If we've got high levels of anxiety and we engage in meditation on a regular basis, it can reduce our set point of anxiety so that we can be more calm on a regular basis. I had a counselor, supervisor a few years back who was very fond of saying it's either medication or meditation. We can do either, and meditation is fascinating and wonderful and effective with no side effects. All right, so that'd be one of the first ways we can be watching, is through this increasing our awareness of self through meditation. The next one I would encourage people to use is journaling. Journaling helps us identify and clarify and accept what's going on and see our feelings in print as we write it out. And I do encourage people to write to journal rather than typing to journal. It impacts our brain differently. And maybe years down the road it's not going to be that same way because our kids are growing up on computers, but that's an aside. Journaling by writing things down helps us to look at things in print and go, oh, that's what I think about this. Oh, that's what was going on. So I can identify it and learn from what happened, and then maybe even consider, what would I do next time if that happened? Not ruminating on, not chewing on, not thinking about the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, but really looking at it and learning from the experience. Again, developing that awareness to learn to face that wave and ride it through the next time it happens. Seeking feedback is another way to learn to identify things in ourselves. Sometimes we can't see it ourselves. So if we're at work, ask for your review. If you haven't had one in a while, hey, can I have a performance review? I really want to know where you see my strengths and where you see areas where I need to grow and change and challenge myself. It's a great way to develop some awareness, to see how somebody else sees you, so that you can learn to navigate your own life, your own seas in a better way. Ask trusted friends. Ask them to be honest and allow them to speak. Allow what they are saying to land. If you have difficulty hearing things without arguing, this isn't one to jump to yet. It's maybe a tool to use later on when you've reduced that set point through your meditation. But ask a trusted friend, can you help me to understand what's going on with me? For myself, my beast that I deal with kind of on a yearly basis is a seasonal depression that impacts me. And I always thought that it hit me right in the middle of winter. And I had a very insightful friend who said to me, it's actually coming out of winter, Julie, that I notice that you are having difficulty. And so that's when you need to be especially aware, have the lookouts, and do the things to help you stop from sinking down in and lift you back up. I appreciated that feedback. So having an honest friend to feed into your life to help you identify areas is very powerful as well. So trusted friends are very impactful in that. Read books. Read books on the subjects that are impacting you. Maybe so that you can see another viewpoint. It's always great to increase our knowledge so that we can have different perspectives. Being able to take different perspectives is kind of like adding extra lookouts for ourselves, right? So we're able to then identify and navigate through life with different perspectives, different insights that could be beneficial to us. maybe seek out a counselor or a life coach to help you manage and plan your own passage through the difficult seas that are your own. Help them to help you, maybe once you've identified some of these areas and they're able to see some other areas, so that you can work together to figure out, how can I go through this journey that is life? Personality tests and reflective questions are additional ways that you can learn more about yourself and how you function, so that you can plan your trip through life accordingly, so that you can know how to navigate life's circumstances. And for example, I happen to know that I am an introvert. I also have the highly sensitive person trait, which is a superpower, but it also has areas that I need to watch out for. Because after a very busy period of time, I might need a little bit more time to rest and rejuvenate than somebody else who doesn't have the highly sensitive person trait. I might need to have more quiet than they do after an event. So being aware of those things, I'm able to care for myself and navigate the seas so that I'm not hit by that big wave. But if I happen to be, I understand the things I need to do to be able to pass through that in a healthier fashion. I know I was designed to be able to navigate these things. I just need to be watching and aware and able to use my tools to do it. Values exercises, reflection questions that we went over. And then there are body awareness pieces, yoga, tai chi, qigong, sounds like I'm speaking another language, but all of these practices that drop us into the body so that we can explore our felt sense, help us to develop a sense of awareness of our body so we can know when things are impacting us, and then we're able to move through effectively for us. Now that doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. But the thing is, just like the ship is designed to navigate through that rogue wave, we are designed to go through the experience of life. We just need to be aware of the things that maybe cause us a little bit more difficulty than others, so that we can turn toward and use the tools to help ground ourselves and go through. Awareness is the first key that we need. We need to be watching for it. And then we can use the tools that we're going to continue to explore on this channel at Orange Therapy on YouTube. I hope that you learned something today. I hope that you learned tools to help you to become aware of what impacts you in a negative way. Be aware of what impacts you in a positive way too, because we need to do those things to be able to shore up our lives and be healthy individuals. If you enjoyed this, I would love it if you would mash on that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share with your friends. That's how more people are impacted and more people are able to learn the things that you've learned today. Thank you so much for being with me here at Orange Therapy on YouTube, where as we go through the sea of life together, I want you to really get this. You are welcome to join me here exactly as you are.